Blake Sloan, and the Sloan Realty Group. Right now on the Liz Callaway Show with Nick Summers. Talk 94.5.
What do you think?
I like it. That's awesome. I was impressed with that.
You're official when you officially get a stager.
I love
If you
it.
have a real estate question, mainly a listing question, contact us on the PCRXcomputers.com text line. Blake Sloan of Sloan Realty Group, the expert in this field, hands down. 843-798-TALK, 798-8255. All right, Blake, what do we need to know? I mean, this market has been running wild for the last 6 months. Where are we at?
Yeah, so I've been talking about this on my show the last couple of weeks. It's been a little interesting. We've seen a small decline in terms of sales for 2 months in a row. So that's interesting for us to look at. So ideally, it's been, crazy. But the last 2 months, we saw a decline month versus month. But the good news is we're up about 4% from the same time last year. And so that's something to watch. We've also seen inventory climb up a little bit. And so prices are still great. Prices up over 22% for average sale price. So we just hit new records for the Grand Strand, over $400,000 for a single-family home average sale price, which is like
what?
Unheard of.
That's the average?
Yes, last month it was $411,499.
Wow.
I know, which is like nuts because you go all the way back to January 2018, it was $244. So
yeah,
huge jump. So
that's amazing.
I think that the one thing that's really helpful for us in the Grand Strand is inventory is still very low. We're still what they call a super seller's market, meaning that is very, very low inventory. And so that's what's protecting a little bit with the softening. And I think part of that softening, just in my opinion, just watching these numbers, being a nerd for the numbers, is a little bit of seasonality. First and second quarter were really strong this year just because people were mad. They were angry at their governors. They were still in some pain up north with lockdowns. And so we saw people who usually come in the summertime were coming early to buy. Mm-hmm. But again, it is a crazy party. I'm not sure how long the party will continue to last at that pace. But the key numbers, when I see 2 months of decline, does worry me a little bit. Not much from a crash standpoint here. We're very well insulated here, but it is something to watch if you're a home seller. If you're thinking about selling this year, you probably want to hit third and maybe early fourth quarter. I don't want to wait too long if you see more softening because that lagging number you may see soften will be priced a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, I think the iron was really hot in June, July.
Yes, 100%.
I mean
off the charts. Unbelievable. Yeah, I mean, we were hitting new records and everything, and then all of a sudden we saw a significant decline, in basically late July, August, and we're kind of seeing it kind of stay the same now.
I may have a theory.
Okay.
Just my own little experiment was that you get tired of keeping on looking and fighting people. So it's almost like I kind of step back from it just to keep my sanity.
Yeah.
I keep putting bids in to buy a home, can't get it. I'm over the bid, still lose it. I'm giving my pre-certified mortgage certificate, like I'm getting this more. Didn't matter. Like none of it mattered. I'll buy all your furniture. Didn't matter.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, what else do I have to do to win in a bidding war that you don't even get a chance to counter?
Yeah.
I mean, they were coming in at give us your highest and best by 5 p.m. Monday.
Yep. And it's interesting. I mean, it depends. So, there's a lot of strategies to that. It depends on the agent, how they advise. There's different nuances that do matter in terms of how you structure the offer, how you structure even closing date, timeline. When a lot of times we just try to dig and find out and say, look, what's your seller need? They need to close, soon. Sometimes they don't want to close soon. They want to close later. And so if you don't know the right strategy, so we really, try to dig in and say, look, what does your client need? Do they need something like ASAP? Like we can close next week, or we can close 90 days from now.
Give them what they want.
Yeah, we just did one where we just closed, let them stay in the house for 90 days.
Okay.
So interesting. Depends on the strategy there to look at. But we call that what you were talking about, buyer fatigue, right? So there becomes that.
That's what I think it is.
Yeah, there's definitely a huge thing, and we've seen that across the country. And I predicted that actually on a show a while back that we'll probably see some of that. But we just seen such a huge influx of out-of-state money, just hundreds of millions of dollars coming from up north, coming down here, and we're still a much better value here than they are from a price standpoint, also from a taxes standpoint.
Oh, absolutely.
They're paying $20,000+ a year. It's much more affordable here, so it's a steal for them to overpay and even put $20,000, $30,000 above asking price.
Tell me, if someone is interested in listing their home, they would almost be scared to call you because they're like, he's going to sell my house so fast, and then I'm not going to have a house to move into.
That's a great.
So tell us about the planning that you go through in that consultation so that people aren't freaking out. Like, if I call Blake, my home is sold. So now what do I do? I don't want to do that. So
that's a great point.
You have a strategy.
I'm glad you brought that up. And so in the beginning, we obviously want to find out what's most important to the client. And so we have two things we talk about. Number one, I can get you, more money, or we can get, faster time. And so we try to find the right formula versus time and money. But ideally, the one thing we're telling our clients right now is that you're in control as a seller. And so no matter what we do, we're very, very good at, we call it the delicate dance. Do you buy first, you sell first? Do you actually, what's your timeline for moving somewhere else? Whatever it is, we're always in control, especially right now with so many buyers. So if we need to push an extra 30 days or do 90 days, whatever it is, we can negotiate up front. So the most important thing we ask our clients right now is, hey, look, what's your ideal timeline? I can make it happen today, right? Mm-hmm. Or we can push it out and make it happen 30 days from now, 60 days from now. And so we always, and I literally design the strategy myself based on what their needs are. Mm-hmm. Just because you know the numbers, the pace of what's happening, pricing. And so we're able to do that. But a lot of times we have the leverage where what we've been doing now, we'll find out what date our client needs, aka the seller. We pick that date, and then we also are able to kind of go back through and say, okay, do we want to get it as is? We've been really good lately at having the seller. We negotiate in there the buyer pays any appraisal deficiency, which has been very, very helpful for our clients. So the market's moving so fast, appraisals are in arrears, so they don't know.
That's right.
They're using
comps are in the rears.
Yes, so they're using data from behind, right? We call it rear view mirror data. And so what's happening, we're having the buyers pay that for our sellers so they can move on with maximum money in their pocket. A lot of agents, though, don't know how or are not able to negotiate in the contract. And all of a sudden, I watch a lot of sellers drop $20,000, $30,000 to make the deal happen.
Wow.
Especially if they have another house under contract. And so,
desperate.
Yes, we haven't had that happen with our clients, but we've been on the buy side, on the opposite side of the transaction. Agent didn't really know what they're doing. They just said, hey, look, the appraisal is $20,000 short. The seller was obviously in a bond because they already bought another property, especially new construction. They had a big deposit on it. And all of a sudden, they had to drop $20,000 to make the deal work, which is a mistake on the agent's part up front by not negotiating that in up front.
Wow.
Yeah, so there's all these new. I watch it every week.
Because what they call that, an escalation offer, where you would escalate to the appraisal?
So the escalation's on the front end. If there's multiple offers, there's an escalation clause you could put in and say, hey, we'll pay $1,000.
There's just so many things you can do. That's why you need someone experienced.
Yes, I'm telling you, because there's so much pace. And the problem is the average agent in our marketplace sells 4 homes a year. So if you're selling 4 homes a year, there's not a whole lot of experience of understanding all these nuances. And really, we just do so many deals. We see the challenges and the issues. And, we're doing we'll do almost between 700 to 800 houses probably this year at the end. And so we're doing a lot on multiple properties a day. And so we're seeing all the challenges real time. And so it's one of those things that we share the data. We're all part of a team, obviously. And so we're able to do that. We call that, basically it's an appraisal deficiency clause. So, hey, look, there's a deficiency in the appraisal. Buyer makes that up. We verify funds on the front end for our client to be able to do that. And so it's important, but there's just so many ins and outs right now just because of the chaos.
And if you have, a superstar agent on the other side and you don't have one on your side, you are so screwed.
Oh,
I'll say it.
It's bad.
Because
sometimes it's almost comical. You're like, man, this is,
it's too easy.
Do you feel bad? But, you have an obligation to your client to do what's best. And
Absolutely.
so on our radio show, I always kind of tell some horror stories. And it's the same thing, usually $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 some cases based on the agent knows someone, they're just in the business, fairly brand new. They're their good friend, or they do it part-time. And if you're part-time right now, you're going to get destroyed if you're a client and have somebody representing you.
I need to show you this picture because I love real estate. I love the business. Never been a realtor, but I just love real estate. I'm always looking at it. I saw this picture on a listing, and this is and it's I think it's such a big mistake. Especially in this market, for sale by owner.
Yes.
Huge mistake. I just feel that way.
Yes.
I saw this picture on a for sale by owner listing. And I said, it might be a really nice house, but this person went around their house, took pictures on their cell phone of their home, posted it for sale by owner, and it's like a picture of their bathroom with the toilet seat up, like a man was just there, right?
Oh, man.
So that's already aggravating me as a woman, right? You left the seat up. So this person took these pictures, these shadowy, crooked, sideways. How detrimental is that to your sale if you're going to do cell phone pictures and a for sale by owner?
Massively. I'm so glad you brought that up, because what people don't realize in today's time is your first showing actually happens online. In the old days, they would see a couple and then they would just go look at it and that would be your first showing. But now everyone's studying so much. Everyone's got, smart devices. They've stalked everything before they've ever gotten there. And so if your pictures online are not good, and here's the thing people don't realize is that we're big on psychology of buyers. So people search by elimination. So if you don't sell them big time on pictures 2, 3, and 4, they're already gone to the next listing.
Wow.
And so when people search, it'll show 30, 40 listings, sometimes 100, depending on marketplace. And so they're just going through looking at the first couple. If they're not intrigued by the first couple photos, they move on to the next listing. So ideally, they would have loved your home, but your agent didn't understand the psychology. So they got 7 pictures of the outside of the house. I see this all the time where amazing homes, the first 7, 8 pictures are all the exterior of like the side wall. And guess what? Buyers don't care about the side wall, right? They want to know what's the living room look like, the master bedroom, master bath, kitchen. They want to see the most important ones. So we always say, look, you have to understand the psychology. Pictures 2, 3, and 4, sell them on looking at the rest of the photos. And then the rest of the photos have to sell them on clicking the one button for a showing. That's what you want, right? But people don't realize that you must have, in today's time especially, professional photos, right? Mm-hmm. Wide angle, great colors. We've tested colors. If I brighten the colors a little bit, we get a higher click-through ratio. Mm-hmm. And so we're really big on, let's say, because here's the deal. If you get 10,000, views online, if I can get a 4 or 5% increase in click-throughs, that's a lot more people that are coming through looking at your house. And you stack that up over time.
And that's what you mean buyers lined up.
Yeah, they're coming in. Then that's what that has, because we've tested everything, but it makes a massive difference. And a lot of these, full-step owners, even a lot of the average agents, they think, we can just use cell phones, or it makes a big, big difference. And we've tested that, and it's been mind-blowing because everyone's searching online. And so that's when we started adding in this new technology. It's a virtual reality walkthrough where they can literally walk through the house. They can look at the ceiling. They can look at the floor. And so we had people buying a lot of homes sight unseen from up north during the lockdown. Even now, we're probably doing 3 or 4 a month. On the listing side, people are buying sight unseen based on the virtual reality walkthrough. Wow. They'll come down and look at it to verify. But it's a big deal right now, and just such a great question, because what you find is buyers just want to look at homes, and they're searching more so than a lot of real estate agents. And so that a lot of buyers know more about the area than most agents do. And we train on that a lot with our team. We're like, hey, look, you got to know everything, the ins and outs, what's in the neighborhood, what's going on. And so we study the market, but more importantly, we study the mindset and the psychology of buyers, where they want to look at the home and see the best rooms.
Yeah, absolutely. Master bedroom size, key. I mean, I'm a big backyard person.
Yes.
So I won't even look at a home unless I see a picture of the backyard.
Yes. So anything that we have close to the ocean, on the water, on a lake, we make that picture 3. Because I want to show what's the view. So if it's very close to the ocean, we put a drone shot with the water.
Yes,
and so,
I love the drone shots.
Yes, so it's important because you want to see proximity, right? So we're big on that. If it's on the waterway,
it
whatever.
has to have a red arrow.
Yeah,
because I get mad if there's no arrow, and then I don't know which house it is, and I'm like, where is it? I try and find it.
Yeah, we try to outline the lot with like a red line. So that's what we do a lot too.
So, okay, we have questions on the PCRXcomputers.com text line for Blake Sloan of Sloan Realty Group, 843-808-SOLD. 843-808-SOLD is his number, but our text line number is 843-798-8255.
We have 2, actually. Another one just popped in. I'll give you the easy one quick. Is a private road, does that bring up a value of your home if you've got your own private road?
Yes, depending on, obviously, if it's a dirt road or paved road. Mm-hmm. I get that a lot, too, where some people, if they have like a certain, to keep their cars extra clean, I get that question a lot. Is it a dirt road? Which you don't see as much anymore. But yes, for certainly, because a lot of people don't like the traffic. They like to be able to have the privacy of it. And so it does increase value, depending on area, location, things like that. But that's a huge plus for us. And any client that we have, that would definitely bump up price.
He just clarified, in a subdivision.
Yes, meaning that you're the only house on there, or just if you're off the main drag. I guess if you're off the main road, it does make a difference.
So a lot of times these private roads don't get the service other people enjoy in the county or the city.
Right. So it depends. So I think maybe he means so let's say in the neighborhood, like we just had this happen.
Like a Legends has its own private road.
Right. And that's a great point. So yes, it does with privacy. And we see the same. We just had one that we just sold in Plantation Lakes, and it's got the main road, which is Juxa, and then the side roads, there's some little more privacy, some cul-de-sacs. And so, yes, that does help because a lot of people, especially if they have kids, they don't want as much traffic. And so we always take that into account. But, yes, it does, especially if it's private, hardly any traffic.
But is it a selling point or an increase in the cost of the home? I'm asking that because I have a beautiful in-ground pool.
Right.
It could be a selling point. It could be a detriment. And also, I don't know if it adds value, although if you were to put one in just like mine, it probably costs about $75,000.
Yes, it is. So the pool question is like our nemesis sometimes because, because everyone that's got a pool is like, man, I should get,
Right.
X amount more money for the pool. But on the flip side, some people don't like the upkeep of the pool, right? So it depends on that. I do think it's a selling point, especially if you have like the outdoor oasis kind of piece of that. But yeah, so here's the thing. An upgrade is not always dollar for dollar. But on the flip side, you can definitely get an increase because you want to find a buyer who's willing to pay a premium for that property. And that's what our goal is. We search for the buyer who wants a pool, who wants a private road, and find them. They will pay a premium. So, yes, I believe that you get a little bit extra price. The number determined is based on how private it is or how nice the pool is. And we always try to bump that up and at least try to get the extra money.
All right. And I'm sure when you go in for your consultation, you tell people, like, here are the top 10 things you should do right now.
Yes. We call it gingerbreading. We say, here's the most dollar for dollar best
I love
return
all your
you get.
names for things.
Yeah, we just
you
try.
need to write a book of Blake Sloanisms.
I know, we're going to try that for sure.
With definitions.
Hey, last
Gingerbreading.
question. Last
Yes.
question. This was kind of, wow, I feel bad for this person. Do you recommend using an agent to sell and the same agent for new build? They just went through a nightmare. The agent promised a new house to be completed, sold our house, and we ended up being homeless for 3 weeks.
Oh.
I feel like the agent was protecting her builder, not representing me.
Oh.
Yes, so I've had experience before with builder agents, and they maybe do something else, but I do. Yes, you want somebody. Well, we represent both parties, but we don't represent a builder. The builder is like the wild card because they pay their pretty much their salary in a way through commissions. But you definitely here's the thing: you want somebody who's good. That's what matters. You want a true expert who does a lot of sales, who does a lot of different types of sales. If you have somebody who's on-site a builder, they're probably not as understanding. On the flip side, even though they can sell a listing and list your house for you, doesn't mean they specialize in that, right? So you want a specialist. And so what our team does, we have buyer's agents and we have listing agents, and each person's a specialist. Where if you use a generalist is not really good at anything. They're just trying to get away with what they can. So, yes, I do recommend having somebody who's a specialist. Thankfully, we fix our problem by having buyer's agents. We call them buyer specialists and listing specialists. And that way our entire team can make sure you get the attention that you need.
I heard you were voted like most likely to succeed in high school or something.
Yeah, I
or
think
most cutest or something.
I got two of them and I had to pick one, I remember. Yeah, it was actually. I was very mad I had to pick one.
I met someone, they were like, oh, he went to my high school. I said he did? And and he got an award.
Yeah, it's very funny. I think it was like they had a different word for the superlative.
He's blushing.
Yeah, it was like
Blake Sloan
you did. It was like most likely to succeed. I was most proud of that one. Actually,
I bet. Well, they were right.
Very cool.
BlakeSloan.com or go to 843-808-SOUL to find Blake Sloan and get your consultation and find out about how he can sell your home and how to launch your global marketing blitz plan with Blake Sloan. We'll be back in a moment. Thanks,
The
folks.
Liz Callaway Show with Nick Summers. Back in a bit on Talk 94.5.